Hello there, this is Tim back at you with a tasting video. So, okay, let me just wanted to get this done before I got started with the beer tasting, so I could just go right into the sampling of these ciders and other fermented delicious fruit concoctions. So this is kind of a dirty way of sampling some of your homebrew without stirring up sediment too badly. Of course, this is this sanitized straw. I've got here, this is a Canadian draft. I've got my logbook here. I really find this is very important to have because, you know, when you're making the beers, it's months or at least weeks before you actually are able to sample the beers, and of course you don't remember everything you did, and you might want to. You might want to tweak your recipe or your steps that you take for getting the final product. So this is a very simple beer. It's from a Mr. Beer recipe. It's Canadian draft. It's I made this on Black Friday, November 25th. I have here all the details about wort preparation. Boiled 8 cups, blah blah blah. Added the booster, which is basically various types of sugar. Dextrose and corn sugars, and it's supposed to add body to the wort and actually give you some alcohol in the wort. So, yep, I also added an extra 1/3 cup of corn sugar. I'm glad I wrote this in here. And hydrometer reading was 1.037 on the start. I had to do some calculations here for temperature because I didn't actually have it fully cooled when I did the hydrometer reading. So you have to do some calculations to kind of find out. Well, if you didn't take the temperature reading of the wort, you have to do some calculations because I knew how much of each type of water I used, what temperatures it was, and then I kind of estimated that my temperature was about 95 degrees when I took this reading. Made the adjustments, and the final reading was, this one's weird. Final reading was 1.027, which says I have about 2% alcohol. So this is probably not going to be the greatest beer. I'm very surprised that it had such a little alcohol because, or the fermentation was not so complete because I left it for a good amount of time. Well, maybe not. Only about. I bottled it on the 12th of, the 11th of January. So yeah, maybe about 2 weeks in the fermentation vessels. I know I used 2 fermentation vessels. I'm learning that maybe I moved it too quickly out of the primary into the secondary carboy. But anyway. This is more about tasting anyway. I just want to taste it and see my progress, if any. And I don't expect this to be a very high level beer. But then if it is a poor beer, then I'm able to see my improvement better with the next beers I taste. So here's what it looks like when I pour it out. And let's see what you can do if you get a little more aggressive. A little bit of fizz. There is carbonation. I have here written on the bottles 1.2 teaspoons of corn sugar. That was my priming of this 24-ounce beer, which is, I think that's about correct. And I did get pretty good carbonation. So I guess there was still yeast working, and maybe I screwed up my second hydrometer reading. That's the only other thing I can think of. If this does pack a kick, then I'm going to probably just assume that I screwed up the second reading. So, or even the first. But the first kind of sounded reasonable. 1.37. Anyway, let's give it a taste. Mr. Beer, Canadian Draft, 2.5 gallon, a little bit under total volume for. Yeah, sweet. You know, the sweet hit at the end, but you know, I got this initial kind of a cidery flavor, and followed by a pretty reasonable beer flavor, like a draft flavor. And then my tongue was overwhelmed with the sugar. So probably I can just let this stay longer in the in the bottles, but there might be too much carbonation at that point. But I'm gonna give the rest of the beers at least probably another month, because I'm in no hurry to drink this in this state. It needs some time to mellow out, to get rid of that sweetness. I think the sweetness is gone. It's okay. I think it's better than my number one batch, which was this Oktoberfest. I think that was it was okay, but this is a little bit better once the sweet is gone. It has more of a rich beer flavor. Yeah. It's just that sweetness gets you every time. But I think this could be at least as good as a your average domestic lager. I mean, I know it's an ale, but it's kind of on that level of not too much flavor. But there is a little bit of bitterness to it, which adds to its body. So I would say I would prefer drinking this once it got a little less sweet than your average domestic. Definitely. Not bad. Yeah, actually the carbonation level is very good. It could use a little more. I mean, it could handle it. I hope that sugar is eaten up and the carbonation's kept under control, not gone too high, but it should be good in a month or so.